Hi everybody and welcome back to my lace carriage strip down here for the knitmaster LC2. I hit a bit of a brick wall earlier trying to get the drums off. This side perfectly fine, all came off easy. That's for that side, I'll put that over there. This side was a totally different matter. So what I did, you see on this side we've got these two screws here, because I'd stripped all of this down. I think you'll have to go back to the other video and see where my problems were. So they were there, undone there, and now I have at last there we are, it's just starting to move. So I'm just going to fiddle a bit longer. It was absolutely welded stuck. I don't know what is going to be underneath this when I pull it to pieces. We'll have to see. As you can see, we're getting there. It's just starting to prise off. We've got it moving on the shaft a little bit. So this top one should come off, the main drum. It's the sub-bump drum that's the problem. So this one now looks like we've got the top main drum off. And this one, there we are, we've just got it to come free. But there is no reason that was that stuck. Unless it's this shaft here. Look at that. I'm going to have to really clean the inside of this out now with cotton wool buds and see what the problem was, and then see if I can get it all back together, because I've never pulled a knitmaster lace carriage to pieces this far before, so I am a bit worried whether I can manage it, but we'll give it a go. Yeah, where's the part? I've given it a bit of a clean, so I'm going to put this, I'm going to try and rebuild this section before I forget how I did it. So this has got to slip under here and go into its place there. I'm going to put the screws back together now. Next I'm going to drop this in its place. It literally just drops in place. Then we need to put these brackets back on here. They've got a little thing on here, a little rivet bit, a dent that's got to go into there. So I've got those two pieces on now. Just got to straighten that up. I'll find the two screws that went back in there. And then what else have I got to do? Oh look, those are the screws that went back in there, the bits that came off this, yes. Those bits went there. And I've still got to carry on cleaning those drums out. Just cleaning those out with a cotton wool bud. Look how dirty that was inside. I bet you that just drops on now with no trouble. That was just gungy, sticky. Let's push it that way it goes. Gungy stickiness, look at that. We now have got the problem fixed. That one's got to go on in a minute. I haven't cleaned that one out yet. So we now know what the problem was. It was gungy sticky oil on the shafts. So I'll drop that one in place first. Look at that, spinning nicely. We'll drop this one in place. And there we go. They're now spinning beautifully back on. The next thing we've got to do is slip this underneath like that and back in place. So we just want to slip that back underneath, and that's in place. Twist that to one side. There we go, that's now in place. And put those two screws back and make sure that's in the right place, which it is there, look the same, making it a mirror image of the other side. Correction. This bit, the row counter, goes slipped onto the little bracket here, this little bracket that fits into, see? That little shaped nugget on the end of that goes into there. Those screws need to be on this one, and this one has its own screws over there. So let me just correct that. We have the row counter back in action. The longest screw went there, the shorter screw went there, two other screws in that, making sure that's able to select. These are able to spin with no sound. And when that's selected, that will then clean the drum like it just did with that sound. Next we need to put the C shape, where is it? This C shape thing on. We've got to make sure that's nice and free here too, all spins nicely. These two screws and that half moon C shape bracket, those are all running freely. Everything's where it should be now. What's next? Don't forget to put that C-clip right there on the top of the drum. There it is in place, and we just push it in I'll use some pliers in a minute to push that along till it clips in place. That's now in place. Still all running really freely. Now we need to look at this back area here and put back the spring and wires there. Here's the wire. There's the hole. Put it into the hole. Twist it around slightly, and then you'll have it sticking up like that, side by side. And then those two bits that stick up need to go into that little hole in that. Dropping its little washer in place first, then putting this on top, and those wires come from underneath through those two holes. You see? They're now in there, and we've got to put this spring from there to there clipped on. But before I do that, I'll just put this drum back in place. Dropping the drums into place is so easy. Just make sure you have some of these in a different position and just put it in, and it will spin into the right place and they'll allow it in. Now to put that C-clip on the top. There it is. I'm going to squeeze that in place. Time to drop that one into place like it's gone there. The whole carriage is back together now except for the spring that goes up there. I'll just check that these are still moving freely, that we've not caught them on these. No, that's absolutely fine. Now to just hook the spring in place. I use a pair of tweezers. That's one side hooked on, and now to hook onto that point there. It's hooked on, and I'm just going to do a thorough check now of all the screws. The C-clips are on, everything's in place. Check I've not missed anything before I start to put the carriage back together. The plastics. Drop the plastic in place. Now putting the two screws in each side. That's in place. Now let's drop that through the keyhole, and we've got to squeeze in under here. Let's see, where is it? So we start off, oops, there, turn it down into place. Hope you saw that, my hand was in the way possibly. Turn it down into place, push it on, check the springs there, yeah, that's all working. Now, see that? That on 0, and then this should turn around when I've got it in the right place, and I'll do that now in a minute. Now I should add, if you do struggle to get the tension dial back in place, you see these two springs here, they can be a bit awkward, so I make a double loop like that. Those loops are going to go over here like that, so I can pull it to open the spring that way to drop the tension dial and the selector switch into place. So I'll just do that now. Place back the plastics. That's there to pull. Drop in this over the key shape. Now then, we had it all the way there. And now there's the second spring. The first spring pops up. The second spring is deeper underneath, and that's why we need to pull it out of the way and push down on here at the same time to get that to lock down deeper. Then the tension dial will go onto it in the right position and then start turning to change the tension. Tension dial's now working again. Pull out the nylon cord that I used to pull the springs in place. Check that that's working. Right, everything's fine. Next, the two screws in the plastics. Now drop the handle in place with it laying down, and put in the screws from the side there and there. Handles in place, front on the carriage, and it's all done. Turn over, give it a light spray, check the drums are rolling. What a difference! Thank you everyone so much for watching. Remember, if you're going to attempt this, consider you might end up breaking it. Just take that in mind, but you could save yourself a fortune fixing it up yourself. Take care, please like, subscribe and share and give us a comment. Bye bye.